Good evening and welcome to Mitv Primetime News, coming to you live from our broadcast studio here in Lagos. Hi, I'm Teresa Adeyemi. We begin the news tonight with the top stories. President Buhari seeks amendment to Petroleum Industry Act. From the foreign scene, Joe Biden urges unity amid tensions with allies. Sport. Hungary fans banned for 2 matches. Now the news in details. The presidency has released pictures showing how President Muhammadu Buhari received briefing from top government officials ahead of his address to world leaders at the United Nations General Assembly in New York. The theme for the 76th section is building resilience through hope to recover from COVID-19, rebuild sustainably, respond to the needs of the planet, respect the rights of people, and revitalize the United Nations. The Nigerian leader is also expected to hold bilateral meetings with a number of leaders of other countries' delegation and heads of international development organizations. The president and members of his delegation would participate in other high-level meetings, such as the commemoration of the 20th anniversary of the adoption of the Durban Declaration and Program of Action on Reparations, Racial Justice, and Equality for People of African Descent. The delegation is also expected to partake in Food Systems Summit, high-level dialogue on energy, and high-level plenary meeting to commemorate and promote the International Day for the Total Elimination of Nuclear Weapons, among others.
The main event, as you know, is the general debate. And this is where all the presidents address the world. And Mr. President is going to be addressing the world. And so what we'll see from this is Nigeria's vision, Mr. President's global vision, and then on key issues of priority. So, you know, things like the development, where we are with that, with climate change, with security, with women empowerment, what we're doing in support of that, and you know, good governance, anti-corruption, illicit, you know, financial flows, and restitution of funds. Then also, you know, even reform of the United Nations itself and Nigeria's position on that, and also, you know, certain other events around the world, and you know, challenges, and then also just to show the efforts that we are making in Nigeria, change the narrative. You know, we feel that the narrative is not always fair to Mr. President and to Nigeria, and to put forward also the fact of the challenges we're facing in our country, and the very honest attempt, and also very successful in many areas to address all those national challenges that we're facing, so that the world can see that Nigeria is a responsible member of the global community.
President Muhammadu Buhari has asked the Senate to amend certain provisions of the controversial Petroleum Industry Act. The Joint National Assembly committees that worked on the PIB had proposed a 5% equity share for the development of the host communities, but the Senate led the campaign for its reduction to 3%, while the House of Representatives approved the panel's recommendation. The conference committee set up by the presiding officers of both chambers in their recommendation fixed the equity share at 3% and was invariably approved by the National Assembly. The development generated into controversy, with senators from the South-South geopolitical zone kicking against it and asked Buhari to resolve the impasse by seeking amendment to increase the equity share to 5%. However, the new amendment proposed by the president did not address the concerns of the South-South stakeholders. Rather, Buhari's fresh request centered basically on the need to review the administrative structure of the Upstream Regulatory Commission and the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. Buhari is seeking the senators' approval to increase the numbers of the non-executive board members of each of the regulatory agencies from 2 to 6 in order to capture the 6 geopolitical zones.
Dear distinguished Senate President, forwarding administrative structure amendments to the Petroleum Industry Act decision-making, especially on issues of staff-related matters. C, appointment of executive directors. The Act has made provision for 7 departmental heads in the authority to be known as executive directors. Their appointment will also be subject to Senate confirmation. This category of officers are civil servants and not political appointees. The Senate is invited to note the need to exempt serving public officers from the established confirmation process for political appointments. This will ensure effective management of the regulatory institutions through uniform implementation of public service rules for employees of the authority. In the future, these positions will obviously be filled by workers in the authority through career progression in conformity with the rules and regulations of the Federal Civil Service.
President of the Senate, Ahmad Lawan, on Tuesday referred the request of the President, Muhammad Buhari, seeking to borrow $4.54 billion and external loans to the Committee on Foreign and Local Debt. Lawan asked the committee, led by Senator Clifford Odia, to work on Buhari's request and submit his report next Tuesday. This followed a motion to the effect by Senate Leader Yahaya Abdullahi and seconded by the Minority Leader Iyinaya Abaribe. The Senate had received a formal request from the President last week to consider and approve an external loan to fund project captured under the 2018 to 2021 borrowing plan. Buhari in the letter explained that the project listed in the 2018 to 2021 federal government borrowing plan had to be financed through sovereign loans from the World Bank, French Development Agency, China Exim Bank, International Fund for Agricultural Development, Credit Suisse Group, and Standard Chartered China Export. He explained that the amount would be used to fund federal and state government projects across key sectors such as infrastructure, health, agriculture, and food.
Approval of multilateral fund projects under the 2018-2021 federal government external borrowing rolling plan. The two senators will recall that the request from Mr. President 2021. Mr. President, with your permission, I wish to move that the request of Mr. President be referred to the relevant committee for further legislative action.
The request of Mr. President C&C for the approval of 2018-2021 federal government external borrowing rolling plan. Say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The request of Mr. President C&C is referred to the Committee on Local and Foreign Debts to report back within 1 week. Chairman, is 1 week enough for you? Yes, thank you.
The senators passed a bill seeking to establish the nationwide emergency communications service. This was just as the upper chamber approved 112 as the toll-free 112, as the toll-free number for emergencies. The passage of the nationwide toll-free emergency number establishment bill 2021 followed the consideration of a report by the Committee on Communications. The report was presented by Senator Biodun Olujimi on behalf of the chairman of the committee, Senator Oluremi Tinubu. Olujimi earlier, while leading debate on the bill, explained that Clause 2 of the bill seeks to establish the nationwide emergency communications service. The lawmaker added that the agency, when established, would be charged with the responsibility of deployment and coordination of a seamless and reliable end-to-end infrastructure for emergency needs throughout Nigeria. She noted that Clause 5 of the bill was amended to vest the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, with the responsibility of formulating regulations and guidelines for the workings of the nationwide emergency communications service. Olujimi further stated that Clause 11 of the bill prohibits the use of telephone and mobile telecommunication services to place a false, frivolous, or vexatious call to the emergency number 112.
The objectives of the bill, the main objectives are to establish a nationwide toll-free emergency number as the primary emergency telephone number for use in Nigeria and to implement a nationwide system for the reporting of emergencies to emergency service agencies. 2, to establish 191 as the emergency number of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to enable Nigerians have access to emergency service agencies for quick and timely response to all forms of emergency situations, such as road accidents, fire outbreaks, burglary, and medical emergencies. To guarantee efficient and effective emergency response system that will provide a single point of contact for assistance in any emergency situation, and to vest the Nigerian Communications Commission with the responsibility of supervising, managing, and implementing the bill as its provisions.
A bill for an act to establish a nationwide toll-free emergency number for reporting of emergencies throughout the Federation and for related matters 2021, third reading taken, and the bill is passed. Congratulations, Leader of the Senate.
The recent sealing and unsealing of tank farms in Lagos State, which generated controversy between the state government and the Department of Petroleum Resources, DPR, has continued to generate reactions. The DPR had unsealed some tank farms that were sealed by the State Physical Planning Permit Authority last year. The Nigerian Institute of Town Planners said that the action taken by the state government was lawful, citing a Supreme Court judgment of 2005 to that effect. At the press conference in Lagos on Tuesday, the state chairman of NITP, Ayo Adejumo, advised the DPR to desist from unsealing tank farms in Lagos. He said the DPR should know that the control of land and monitoring of fiscal development in any state of Nigeria was vested in the state government.
Some farm tanks in Lagos State were illegally developed and operated. The Minister of Physical Planning is not saying that these farm tanks do not have operational licenses. No. The Minister of Physical Planning and by extension the Lagos State government is concerned about the structures and the physical development of these farm tanks and their impact on the environment where they operate. We wish to state that according to the Supreme Court's judgment of 2005, the control of the use of land and monitoring of physical development in any state of the Federation is vested in the state government.
Following the fire incident which ravaged homes and belongings of the residents of Makoko in Yaba Local Council Development Area last month, the Honorable Dr. Kayode Omiyale has fulfilled this promise of providing relief for the affected victims. At a brief ceremony, Honorable Dr. Omiyale gave gratitude to God that no life was lost in the inferno and he added that his administration ever committed to the safety and welfare of the people. After a thorough verification exercise of the list submitted by the Relief Committee, comprising the community leaders and the representatives of the council, a total of 55 affected residents emerged beneficiaries of a palliative sum of 50,000 naira each. In turn, the affected residents collected the palliatives from the chairman and other dignitaries at the event. In appreciation on behalf of the beneficiaries, one of the community leaders, Mr. Mudashiru Odetunde, expressed gratitude to the leadership of Yaba LCDA for their prompt and kind gesture.
We put up a committee which comprises members of this community, and some of our staffs, and we asked them to compile the list. So far, we compiled about 55 names were compiled. We continue to be enlightening our people because there are so many things that can cause fire accidents, and one of the things that we are suspecting here is probably the sparking off of wire, and that is why I try to warn them that they should stop illegal connections within the community.
Ogun State may be on the verge of blocking the influx of foreign direct investment, FDI, and last the inflow of billions of naira if the allegation of political vindictive on the associate of former governor, Senator Ibikunle Amosu, is anything to go by. The allegation of probes and account checks instituted against former OPEC Managing Director about the Ogun House of Assembly to provide proof of missing funds was seen as measures that could draw back huge investment from the Rock City. Speaking with newsman Jide Odusholu explained that there was no iota of truth in the allegation of missing funds during his tenure between 2013 to 2019. He noted that the agency was run as a business entity to grow Ogun State internally generated revenue, IGR, but not for personal enrichment. While debunking claims of financial impropriety, Odusholu said the agency asset base was grew to 60 billion naira in 6 years. He therefore called for a 10-year forensic audit from 2011 till date to clear all the grey area associated to the management of the agency's corporate finance.
Am I the one that is correct since I was the one that was running the corporation? Or is it the outsider that says, I looked at the book and I see that there's money missing? Who is correct? Since now they have made themselves an interested party. They have taken a position. They have attacked my person. We now need an independent third party to be the one to say, this is actually the truth. And that's why I'm calling for a forensic audit.
Procedure, especially the violation of fundamental rights, which we believe is the strongest of all rights. So we'll be going to court to challenge the report itself, and we'll be making prayers. I don't want to go into details of such right now. The State Assembly, Ogun State, specifically Ogun State, will definitely be sued. But regarding the individual, we'll leave our gunpowder for now, and we'll let you know, or you'll get to find out whether they will check or no. We know there are privileges for comments made or passed while proceedings go on, but we'll check and we'll weigh our options. We'll come back to you. Thank you.
Inequality of opportunities across the various strata of the society is not only detrimental to growth and well-being, but portends great danger for societal stability and unity. A former Vice Chancellor of Lagos State University, Professor Olanrewaju Fagbon, expressed this in Osogbo at the University of Osun 10th Convocation Lecture with the topic towards harnessing intergenerational opportunities for inclusive growth and development in Nigeria. Professor Olanrewaju Fagbon said self-interest, impunity, injustice, as well as corruption and avoidance of due process have done damages to the country's stability. Professor Fagbon submitted that if government makes the judicial system accessible, efficient and reliable, this will significantly impact on other sectors and enhance equity and social justice. He identified intergenerational collaborations among younger and older people as panacea to myriads of challenges facing the country. Management of the State University dropped the hint that it has provided support funds where interested alumni can supply for up to 200,000 naira interest-free loan to start up on a small scale and expand over time.
Intergenerational contract is also a compact of how do we create wealth in such a way that everybody will be a part of it. You don't have some people living in poverty and squalor, while 100 meters away from them, there will be pleasure and splendor. That will continue to create crisis in the society.
Our entrepreneurial training has also equipped you, and you have to take advantage of this. A better world will not come through mere wishing and complaining, but by collective actions of individuals who are driven by the passion of making the world a better place for all of us.
And whatever the knowledge, the skill, the opportunity I have there, I bring it back home to come and develop my country.
The only commitment the Governing Council under my watch has is to enthrone excellence through a fair and firm process, comparable to best practices anywhere in the world. We assure all stakeholders that we have no personal interest to serve other than the best for our university.
And that's all from the local scene. A quick break will do. When we come back, we'll bring you a report from the foreign scene. Please stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching MITV Primetime News. Now to foreign stories. Sudan says that people linked to the ousted president Omar al-Bashir were behind Tuesday's failed coup attempt. A spokesman blamed forces of darkness, adding that those involved have been arrested. Bashir, who had been in power for 3 decades, was toppled 2 years ago. The current administration, involving the military, civilian representatives, and protest groups, was then established as part of a power-sharing agreement. The coup plotters had tried to take over a building housing the state media, AFP news agency report. Earlier reports from the capital, Khartoum, and nearby Omdurman described intense military activity, and the main bridge across the River Nile was shut. A third Russian faces charges over his alleged involvement in the 2018 Salisbury poison, which left 3 people critically ill and 1 dead. Security sources believe Denis Sergeyev was the on-the-ground commander in the Novichok attack on former double agent Sergei Skripal and his daughter Yulia. The soldiers died after the poisoning, and a police officer was badly injured. Prime Minister Boris Johnson said that the suspect should be handed over for justice. Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova said the UK was using the case as a tool to put pressure on our country, having would decisively reject all of London's attempt to blame Moscow for what happened in Salisbury. Police confirmed they believe the suspect in the case belonged to a team from the GRU, Russia's military intelligence service. Sergeyev is believed to be the team's senior member and has also been linked to other covert activities across Europe. U.S. President Joe Biden has urged global cooperation through a decisive decade for our world. It calls for unity, calm amid tensions with allies over the U.S.-Afghanistan withdrawal and the major diplomatic row with France over a submarine deal. The U.S. also announced it was doubling its climate finance pledge by 2024. Reaffirming his support for democracy and diplomacy, Mr. Biden said, and I quote, "We must work together like never before," end of quote. The 76th General Assembly in New York City took place against the backdrop of a climate crisis and a once-in-a-century pandemic, both of which have sharpened global divides. Biden pushed for cooperation on this front, saying, "Whether we choose to fight for a shared future or not will reverberate for generations to come. Simply put, we stand, in my view, at an inflection point in history." And up next, sport-related stories. Please stay with us. You're still watching MITV Primetime News. Now to sports stories. Hungary have been ordered to play 2 matches behind closed doors by FIFA following the racism English players experienced at a World Cup qualifier in Budapest on 2nd of September. However, the second ground closure is suspended for 2 years. The Hungarian Football Federation has also been fined £158,400. FIFA in the statement said it takes a class 0 tolerance stance against such abhorrent behavior in football. The governing body added that it remained firm and resolute in rejecting any form of racism and violence, as well as any other form of discrimination or abuse. In June, UEFA fined the Hungarian Federation £85,500 and ordered a 3-game stadium closure. The fine amount being suspended for discriminatory behavior by their supporters during Euro 2020. The sanction did not apply for England's visit, as the World Cup qualifier was a FIFA game rather than being under the control of UEFA, who did not ask for the punishment to be transferred. Lionel Messi will miss Paris Saint-Germain's game away to Metz on Wednesday due to a knee injury, which coach Mauricio Pochettino said was the real reason behind a surprise decision to take the 6-time Ballon d'Or winner off against Lyon at the weekend. The Argentine star underwent an MRI on Tuesday after taking a knock to his left knee during Sunday's 2-1 win. Results showed signs of bone bruising, the club said in a statement. Messi was replaced by Achraf Hakimi, a fullback, after 76 minutes against Lyon on his first home appearance as a PSG player since arriving from Barcelona. The 34-year-old appeared to reject Pochettino's hand as he walked past his coach towards the Paris bench, but the former Tottenham Hotspur boss later defended his decision to take Messi off without mentioning the injury. Mario Icardi's stoppage time-added goal secured victory for PSG against Lyon, leaving them with 6 wins out of 6 in League One this season and already 5 points clear of second place Marseille, albeit having played a game more. Chelsea defender Marcos Alonso will stop taking a knee before matches as it thinks the anti-racism gesture is losing a bit of strength. Instead, the 30-year-old Spainer says he prefers to stand and point to the No to Racism badge on his shirt sleeve. Crystal Palace winger Wilfred Zaha was the first Premier League player to stop taking a knee. Players began taking the knee in solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement after the Premier League's 100-day hiatus because of the coronavirus pandemic in June 2020. Prior to the start of the current top flight season, players from all 20 Premier League clubs said they would continue to take the knee as a symbol of their unity against all forms of racism. However, Zaha said earlier this year that players should stand tall and reiterated his view that taking the knee was degrading. And just before we end the primetime news tonight, a quick recap of our top stories. President Buhari seeks amendment to Petroleum Industry Act. From the foreign scene, Joe Biden urges unity amid tensions with allies. Sport. Hungary fans banned for 2 matches. And with that, we draw the curtain on the primetime news tonight. From the entire news crew, I am Teresa Adeyemi. Do have a great night. Good night.